Hi guys. This is a special episode of Two Tired Dudes Not to try not to not fall asleep on a bed. As you can tell, I can barely talk anymore. And this is Michael from Seagull, and you are
This is Mateo from here.
because now you get to say here. Why did you not say here in the last episode?
I think we were in the same place 2 days in a row.
No, dude. It was because you were on the boat, and you're like, well, if I say here, the next second I'm not here anymore.
Yeah, the here is always changing.
Yeah. So are we?
We are in Sardinia.
Hell yeah.
We are well in Sardinia as well.
We are halfway through Sardinia.
Halfway through, yeah.
Because we're mental. Remember how we planned to do it in 3 days?
Yeah.
Well,
Plans change.
plans change. So what happened? We woke up, best night's sleep I'd had so far. We slept on a bed, remember? And we're on beds again.
I don't know if we talked about this yesterday, we were debating whether to sleep on the floor in the ferry.
Yeah.
Or sleep on a bed. And eventually we're just like, we'll take the luxury of the bed.
Yeah.
And so we paid extra to sleep in a room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we mentioned it. I don't know if we said we were debating it, but yeah, anyway.
Okay, yeah.
It is what it is, right? So we slept on a bed.
Yeah, it was a very nice bed. It was just like, because it's a boat, you have to adjust to the moving up
Fair,
and down.
But I just passed out, I'll be honest with you.
I was like, still like, whoa. It was very wavy in the Mediterranean. Way wavier than the English Channel, so we're just like...
Which is weird, because usually you would expect it to be the opposite, but I think it's because of the direction of the waves they were hitting the side of the boat. Anyway, but I think at least I slept.
I slept very well as well.
As
like, to be back on a bed it's definitely a luxury.
Yeah, you're so comfortable. I like camping, but you know, sometimes it's a bit awkward, especially because we have kind of small tents.
Yeah. Like I couldn't do this on the tent.
Yeah. Anyway, enough talk about sleep for now. Okay. Right?
We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. So we woke up this morning at around 7. Yeah. Started getting up, started getting ready. Then we had they started playing music in the room.
Actually, pretty good music as well.
It was kind of chill music. Yeah. There was a little energy to try and get you up, I think.
Yeah. But in a very nice way.
Because it was a 7 a.m. start, which I think for a lot of people is just no. But I think we've been getting used to those.
Yeah. So I probably got up earliest than I have in the trip.
True. Like at 8 o'clock, we weren't quite ready. But at like 10 past 8, we were on the bikes already.
And the fact that like I had a good night's sleep, I didn't mind waking up so early.
Yeah.
Like we probably went to bed quite early last night, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, something like that. Like 9, something around 9. Like I've been tracking my sleep with my watch.
Yeah.
And it's telling me I've been sleeping like 7 hours maybe. And last night was like almost 9 hours. And it was amazing. And when you wake up at 7 and you've almost slept 9 hours, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So we got up. I think we just packed
our
stuff.
Still talking about sleep.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, we packed our stuff, got off the boat. I don't think anything particularly interesting happened on the boat.
Well, no, we were just told to get off.
Yeah, exactly.
My nice Italian guy.
Yeah, so and I'll be honest.
Get off. There's a put down. Get off.
Yeah. Get out. Because whatever. Anyway, I have to say that my understanding of Italians who speak French is not very good. I much prefer French people who speak French. I think they speak clear. Now, it is their language, but I would expect as an Italian speaker to be able to understand them. No. Anyway, so we got off the boat and we were in Sardinia. I was kind of shocked. I was like, what? We're actually here?
Yeah, it was. I think this trip has been... In many ways, it's passed so quickly, but in a lot of ways, it's also been such a long period of time just how intense the activity is.
Yeah, so I feel like it's long in the moment, it's quick in retrospect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the fact that we were finally in Sardinia, on home soil,
I think I saw the sign. I remember seeing the sign on the side of the road. I'd be like, that's like places I know.
Yeah.
What?
The road felt familiar, the pavement, and
the smells. The heat.
But as much as it was cheery weary, as soon as we got off one left, we had to like cross a Roman bridge.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But you know how Roman bridges are? Well, you know, because you were there. But it's basically just loads of big boulders that you're like basically like trying to pick your... Oh, completely uncyclable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just we left Porto Torres, which is the town where we arrived,
Yeah.
and then we went on the bridge. But then after that, I have to say the roads were fairly chill.
Yeah, we were trying to make our way to Algero after that point,
Yeah.
and between there and Algero, we just kind of, it was a bit warm, nothing crazy. It was pretty flat.
Did we get a few beeps at the beginning?
Yeah, I remember looking at it, and I'm like, in France, we got like, I say 10 beeps, and I think I'm actually exaggerating here, just to like really give Italy a chance. We got 2 beeps, at least 2 beeps in the first 12 minutes.
I think it was the first 3 because you had set your watch way before.
True.
Like when I started my watch, it was only 3.
Because I set my watch like the moment we got on the bikes in the boat.
Yeah.
So anyway, crazy stuff. You know, back in Italy, hell yeah. So we went. We did the. I think nothing special happened between there and Algero. I think what happened.
Cyclists, which was nice.
Yeah. We saw some actual cyclists. Not like retarded cyclists.
No. But it was pretty smooth. I think we had the wind at our backs. At least I was confident it was. You weren't this confident.
I wasn't so confident. I think it's because I was in front, so I could feel the wind in my face.
Yeah, we did like. I think it was coming from everywhere, but I'm pretty sure I felt wind in my back.
That's fair.
I think to Algero was fairly chill cycling.
Yeah, I mean, what did happen on the way to Algero? We kind of discussed.
Oh yeah. We were joking.
What caused the rest of the day.
Yeah, because the big decision of the day was whether we would do Sardinia.
Yeah, we were considering just doing Sardinia
in one day.
Which is 240 kilometers, which is 100 kilometers more than the longest distance we've ever cycled, and it had more elevation.
Yeah.
So it was a significant upgrade, but we honestly thought it was doable.
I think the first 30k gave us such a good boost.
I think, we'll get into where the problem arose afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I think I still think it's doable.
I think it's doable, yeah.
I think it's doable.
It's a question of whether you want to do it or not.
Well, that's always a question, right? Like, who wants to cycle France in 2 weeks, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, anyway, we were debating this, and so I was like, yeah, and I was kind of surprised you wanted to do it.
Yeah,
because you wanted to chill, right? You wanted to chill.
In my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself like pit stops. Like Bozo will be one, which is a town.
Yeah. Well, then we discussed. We were like, okay, so we have 2 actual stops we've planned out.
Yeah.
At each of the towns before those stops, we consider.
Yeah. Because part of me really wanted to.
And then in Algero, we have like the first, like, okay, let's look at what the route actually looks like. Then in Bozza and in Oristano, the idea would have been kind of, okay, how do we feel?
I'd say, so just as we went into Algero.
So we're not completely silly.
We had a nice breakfast. I just thought I'd mention it.
Oh yeah, it was a nice breakfast in Algero.
Sardinian breakfast.
So many pastries.
We had the cornetto alla marmellata.
Croissant.
Which is just a properly made croissant.
Exactly. So I think French people will kill us because after all the croissants, it's less butter and there's jam inside.
It did taste like home though because I've had so many.
It did. It tasted very different to the French ones though.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference.
The fact that I had jam in it already.
Yeah. Like I didn't. To be fair, after having all these croissants, I didn't realize how much of a difference there was.
Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely way buttery. The French one.
Yeah.
We had brioche alla veneziana, which is a type of pastry. We had pardre, which is authentic Sardinian pastry.
Let's go.
That my nonna makes a lot, and she probably makes it better than the one we had.
I think she makes it better.
And then we had ciambelle, which is a nice pastry as well.
Yeah. So it was nice. We kind of chilled on the side of the road. I was looking at you like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced. You weren't sure. You were sure that I would try. Yeah. You weren't convinced I would be physically able to.
Yeah,
I was just looking at him like.
Well, bear in mind, like 3 days ago, I think you had a bit of a eating mishap.
Yeah.
And we had 140k to do. Yeah. And it was just like. Yeah. And
I've learned though, because like today I managed my eating much better.
Yeah. I wanted to see how the day unfolded because we knew we had 1,500 meters of elevation.
Well, no, we knew we had 1,100.
Yeah, but we ended up doing
1,500 because Google Maps not so accurate.
Yeah, so like, it's it's good to take things with time and
so then we got to Algero.
We left Algero with the idea of giving it a go and see where.
Well, with the idea of we'll go to Boza and see what happens, but we like the plan is to get to Cagliari. The plan is to get to Cagliari, but we're allowing ourselves, I think in sailing, they're like ports of refuge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we started our way into Boza.
Yeah, so that was a
Mental.
crazy
That was
road.
silly.
So it's called the Litorania
Which means
in
just a
Italian.
coastal road.
It's a coastal road on these like cliff faces, I would
Yeah.
say. They go up and they go really really steep up and really like down.
Steep down.
So you
it's just-
really
It kills you.
like the fact is we looked at it, it was like 326 the max.
Was the
height
peak?
peak. That's
Like
not
was
that
the
much.
absolute highest, and it's like that's not
That's
bad.
alright.
Like we did like 750 the other day.
Yeah, but the fact that you're going up and down and really steep, and you got to factor in the headwind.
Yeah,
And
because we're right on the sea, which means there's wind always, right?
Yeah, like you could turn 360, we said, and you'd still have headwind. Like it didn't.
Well, you could turn 180.
180, yeah. 360, yeah, makes sense. But like it didn't matter which way you turned, you had headwind. And it was so warm.
It was so
hot.
warm. This is the first. So we kind of had two areas of peaks.
Yeah.
This was the first one, and the sweats were starting.
I think it was about 30k in total
Yeah.
from Alghero to Boza.
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh,
long.
maybe even more. Like because when
No, it
we
was-
got there with 80, and something
We
around
started around 50.
30 to 40k.
Yeah.
And it
Of
was
just up and down and
yeah.
up and down. And you're always like, oh, we should be close now. And then you don't realize that doesn't count.
yeah, like
Because we were looking at like kind of the peaks and be like,
Yeah.
okay, just to give us an estimate of, and it was useless.
I remember we had
to
done
look
a
at.
massive long climb,
Mm-mm.
and we just finished another one after
Yeah.
that. And you were like, oh yeah, we're just getting to the pre-peak.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then like an hour later,
Matteo
45
convinced it was the peak.
45 minutes later, I was like, oh, surely we've done the peak now. He's like, no, we're just about to come to the peak now. I was like, no. Like the start of the climb before the peak.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. So it lasted a while. And then the worst part for me in this area was my tire burst in the middle of the peak.
As you were climbing.
Yeah, and the problem is we kind of want to stick together.
Yeah.
So rather than, because changing my tire, it takes a bit of time because you have to take all your stuff off. It can be a little rough or whatever. So I was like, okay, I need to make sure that Matteo hears me. But with the headwind, you couldn't hear me. So I was like shouting, Matteo! And I was like, okay. So I had to walk this peak, like carrying my bike, just like trying to run a little bit, flat tire, just like, oh no.
I was like really excited for the climb because I like climbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the toughest climbs I've done because you had headwind in the sun and it was like you were turning and just got steeper and steeper and steeper. And my lowest gear wasn't working. And I got to the top, I was like, finally some rest.
Speaking of, right? Our gears are messed up. So I think after all this cycling, we need to get a little tune up of the bike.
Yeah.
Your lowest gear doesn't, or your easiest gear doesn't work.
Yeah.
And my two easiest gears don't work either.
Yeah.
And like you look, at least for me, I haven't looked at yours, but you look at my gear shift and it's just wires. Like just sprouting.
Yeah, so that's not good on a day to your highest climb.
No, it's not.
But yeah, so I got to the top and I was like, all right, finally some rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just drink some water. I'll wait for Michael to get up and I'll have time to have some water and just rest. And then 5 minutes passed. I was like, where the hell is Michael? Like, should I go back down? This is the steepest climb I've done. I was like, I don't want to have to go all the way back down.
You thought I'd passed out or
I was
something.
like, has he passed out? Like, surely the cars would let me know if anything bad happened.
Would they? Because they don't know we're together.
That's true. Well, they see two guys with panniers. It's not that common.
People don't pay that much attention.
They were paying attention to us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
got the odd.
We did get the odd like concerned look, like what are these guys doing?
Yeah, but eventually you showed up walking your bike, and I was like,
Just like,
he must have been.
yeah, you
I was
thought I was
wondering
being
how long-
lazy.
How long do I? Yeah, I thought. Steve Hill, let's go boys.
Yeah, you thought I was being lazy.
Look at Michael, you can't even do it.
Yeah,
You show up in
and
a
I'm
flat
here like
tire.
burst flat tire. I have to fix it under the sun for the next like 10 minutes because it wasn't budging.
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
Yeah,
But-
and then I bumped it, and when we left again, and it didn't pump properly, so I had to pump it again. And then after a little bit, we had to go a little higher as well because we hadn't quite made it at the peak.
Still, yeah.
Right? And then we got to the peak, and we met a German guy who we'd seen it like twice because this guy was a beast. He was going up and down. Like,
bear in mind, he didn't have panniers on.
Yeah, he had like a road bike.
Also, like, you got to take into account. I was like looking at what I'm carrying. I'm carrying like 4 or 5 water bottles.
Yeah.
That's like 10, 12 kilos. Like,
no,
when you
I don't know how big it was.
They're like 2.5 liters, 2 liters each.
Fair enough.
So we definitely have weight. And this
anyway, we're not trying to compare. We're not trying to compare with this.
The same German dude. You have a road bike with nothing on.
Guy's kind of a beast. Turns out his wife or some other German woman, we think it's his wife, had just burst her tire, and he looked at me and he's like, "Dude, your back wheel doesn't look good." So he was a lad, and he pumped it up for me.
I wonder if we should get a better pump if we do a trip again.
Yeah.
Better, because
I was thinking that
our ones are like €10 in Decathlon, and I don't think they pump, but like maybe if you work on it enough, eventually they'll pump properly.
Yeah, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
Like a while.
And you want to make sure your back wheel is inflated because you're carrying so much weight on the back wheel.
So anyway, we get to the top, and we ask, "Is it downhill?" And he's like, "Mostly."
Yeah, mostly.
And I was like, "Okay, I'll take mostly." You know.
Yeah. To be fair, it was mostly.
And we didn't manage our food the best though either, right? Because
we hadn't eaten since 30K.
We hadn't eaten since 40K. So we ate at 40K, and then we ate again at 80K. Because we were like, oh, let's just wait to Baza because it's all downhill anyway. It's fine. It was not. It was like 15, 17 kilometers or something. And so when I got...
There were uphills. Yeah, you're right, actually, yeah.
Yeah, there were some uphills,
you know. Mostly downhill.
It was a lot of downhill.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all downhill.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to the bottom eventually. Or is there anything happened in that downhill? Not really.
I just want to say I got more confident with the downhills today. I was like really using them properly.
Yeah, because I love downhills, so I kind of boot it. Today I was a little worried for my back wheel, so I was a little like, but I usually kind of boot it, and I'm like, all right, I'll see him in like half an hour, right? This time you were behind me.
I was like, this is about like the confidence.
There was one point though where I went really slowly because we were like going around the corner on a downhill, and you could just see the sea. And there was so much wind passing through. I was like, if one little bit of wind knocks me off this, I'm dead.
Wind was crazy when you're going down because it really pushes you. And the odd time you'll see on the side of the road like flowers for someone who passed away. Usually a motorcyclist. So when you're going downhill, you see that, you're like, oh shit, maybe there's a reason. What's ahead?
Yeah, maybe we should be a little cautious. So we got to Baza. Very happy. I think we were both a bit dead.
I think we were dead by that point, yeah. And we definitely needed food. I think the heat factor means you sweat a lot more. Which means you...
And the thing is, we hadn't even started sweating at that point.
Yeah, you lose electrolytes.
We lose electrolytes and stuff. And I looked for electrolytes this morning, but Italy, you're failing me.
Yeah, we couldn't find them in one
Couldn't find electrolytes and the shop.
Oh, yeah. But I do think the heat adds a new factor. So we stayed in Baza for a while. But we were fairly...
You kind of got back up.
Yeah, I got back up.
I cancelled the first place because we were like, all right, we're gonna do step 2.
Yeah, there was a nice part of me that was like, the beach looks nice. I liked it because we were sweating buckets at this point. Because I was very sweating.
Yeah, I was using like the water tap, just like.
We got some food in.
Getting myself cooled down.
Even to go to Oristano was still around
60K.
140. Which is in total, which is
still 140, and like 140 of the biggest climbs we've done so far on the trip.
But like the 140 number seemed like doable because obviously we've done it before. Even though the climbs were completely different. But yeah, we had some.
But the thing is, actually, to go to the Agriturismo, we would have had to do almost as much climbing as to go to Oristano. So we were also like, right, if the difficult part is the climbing, at that point we might as well just go further, right?
Yeah. Bear in mind, so the idea is like Baza is like the flat in between the initial climbs,
so there was kind of 2 big hills
and then the next climb,
2 big areas of climbing. Yeah. So we were in the middle, like should we not?
Yeah.
And
I think we both got a rise in energy.
It took me a bit. Like when we were still sitting down and we were leaving, I was still a little like. Then I had some sweets. So I had some actual food first. Then I had some sweets, and then as we were leaving, I was like, okay, I'm feeling the energy coming back. And then, also say
no, just after it was like we just eaten.
Yeah. So what happened then?
Yeah, like
literally a warning of the steepness of this hill. And you know how you look at roads and you're like, okay, so there's the nice slow incline, and then there's the messed up incline. Why do we always have to take the messed up incline?
Yeah. No,
so this was like 10% gradient, and it lasted, I think, like 5 or plus kilometers of just friggin'.
Yeah, and bear in mind, we'd just eaten. So, like, they do usually say, do not do hard effort right after you eat, because it causes indigestion.
Yeah. I only had little sandwiches. I'm actually, I'm realizing I'm eating less, which is kind of worrying. Yeah. And because I'm burning a lot of calories. I burned 8,000 calories today. Yeah. And I've barely eaten and I'm not hungry.
Yeah, I had 2 sandwiches, so I had eaten properly. I knew I'd eaten. So I remember telling you, I was like, oh, I'm trying to do these hills, but not hard. But it's like 10% incline. So there's no way to do these hills not hard. So I had to stop a few times. Yeah. And then eventually we both stopped.
Yeah, so we at least for me, because my heart, because this is when I started sweating.
Yeah, me too.
Like I was drenched. Your t-shirt changed color. Yeah. You know, like we were drenched. We were exhausted. The steep incline just never ended, ever. And I'd look at it every now and again on the map, and I'd be like, we still have so long to go.
Shoot up. That's the one thing I'm glad is I'm not looking at the map. Yeah. So I don't have to know. I just look at a corner and I'm like, oh, that's when it slows down.
Dude, that's what I always tell myself. But the thing is, if I tell myself, I'll like boot it to that.
Yeah. No.
And then I turn the corner. I'm like, that was a mistake. Because the few times I do it, my legs just kind of go on fire, and then I need to take a break.
Yeah.
So that was
massive hill.
Rough. I think at one point, at least, because I needed it, because my heart rate was shooting up. Yeah. I was friggin' sweating everything. Yeah. We were taking breaks like every few hundred meters. Yeah. For like, I don't know, for like a 2 kilometer stretch, because it was like that, and it was roasting. We were sweating, and it was just outrageous.
Yeah, I think when we got to
so whenever I saw big areas of shade, I'm like, all right, that's my next break.
Yeah, when we got to the top of that, because I had sweated so much, or because I sweat so much. Yeah. I did feel like lightheaded. Like I felt like I lost a lot of just
fluids.
Fluids and just power. Not power because the legs were still there, but it was just like
I remember
felt a bit drained.
And you still refused my sweets.
I still refused the sweets. I don't think they would help that much.
They did, but promise, because I felt terribly. Yeah, but the sugar, it's not just the sugar.
Yeah. Bear in mind, we still had 4 more peaks to do after that.
Yeah, but they were much smaller ones. And they really were much smaller ones.
But some of them were quite steep as well.
Yeah, like the last one. Yeah. The last one, dude, it just felt like, Yeah. It was just like, it was going from like one push down to the next push down. And the bike had no momentum at all. 0 momentum.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get indigestion.
Yeah.
And because I started feeling here a little bit as well. Which I guess that's
really?
Stomach is, yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
So I was like, I'm just taking this easy. And we did take the next 4 peaks fairly easy.
Yeah, we took our time.
At that point, I was like, looking at the time, it was like, 5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
And I was like, it's going to get dark. Yeah. We already passed our initial stop, but it's going to get dark. And I was like, do I really want to do a lot, like most of the way to Cagliari? Yeah. In the dark? Because part of me also wants to see Sardinia.
Fair. To be fair, it wouldn't have been most of the way. It would have been like the not so nice area to look at. Yeah. But still a lot of darkness.
It would be a lot of darkness. Reason. And like, I did want to see Sardinia as well a little bit. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the culture. Because why only France? You know, like, come on, we're half Irish, half Sardinia. We should see a bit.
Because we destroy Ireland, we destroy Sardinia. You know, and we enjoy France.
So at that point, I was like, I think we took a break.
Yeah, we were because you told me you're lightheaded, and then you're like, no, let's make it to the last peak, and I was like, no, I'm stopping here and we're having food. Because I've been lightheaded a few times, and I know that it's a stubborn way to go, but it just gets worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I was just like, all right, Mike, because Mike really wanted to do the whole one in a day.
Yeah. And I was feeling better and better. Like as those hills were passing, I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think we probably could have done it, but I was just like, I don't want to do it in the dark. I want to see the place.
And also, so you didn't want, like, it wasn't that big of a thing for you to do.
I didn't have any demons or anything.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know.
Apparently, what is it? Matteo today asked me, like, hey, Michael, who hurt you?
I was like wondering that as we were going up the hills. But no, so I was just like, I'll go to a campsite. Like, if you want to do it, because obviously it's part of chance. I don't want to. But I'll just go to a campsite, which I think I found was 20k away.
Yeah, 23, and we had to do the last 2 peaks.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much downhill.
And we were around 90k at that point.
Yeah, so it was going to be 100-something K.
So I was like, that sounds like a good day job for me. And then tomorrow I was actually even thinking, like, if you just booted it, I would have taken, like, the south, west coast, and just doing more, like, Bola and, like, around.
That's fair.
Instead of going straight through the center.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think we both got quite quiet. Because I think you were like, we were deciding. It was a big decision.
Yeah, I was deciding. I was spending a little bit of time like, all right, so there's the sensible, nice thing. You've done this whole trip, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you have demons, Michael.
Yeah, he wanted to see God.
Yeah, I wanted to see God. Hey, what is it? Mateo's catchphrase for the channel is "Work out so hard you see God." Exactly, yeah, I wanted to see God. You know.
Yeah, I'd already seen him that day, so I was like,
yeah,
fair enough. But yeah, so I think we both wanted to finish the hills though, because the main.
Yeah, I wanted to finish the hills.
The 2 main hills, even just to go to Calgary, would have been done.
Like no by far. Pretty much all the elevation was done.
Yeah, like it would have been flat.
Yeah, like for me, and it sounds really weird saying it, but even though we were at 120 out of 140k, it was the home stretch because it was so flat. Yeah. It would have just been a grind it out kind of thing. Yeah. It wouldn't have been like go put in huge amounts of effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were a little dead. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, I'm going to the camping. It's getting late as well because in France the campsite closed early.
Yeah.
Like at 6-7 o'clock. So I want to make sure. And apparently you can.
I called them, and they were just like, yeah, show up whenever. I was like, do you have a closing time so that and they're like, well, not really. We just kind of stay open. I was like, all right.
That sounded good too.
I like this.
I didn't have to rush.
Yeah, that said it was 23k, but you were going to be early anyway.
Yeah, I would have been on time. But so we just kind of went down. I think there was a downhill there, but it was still like up and down and up and down.
It was rolling hills. Which was very surprising because we did expect it to be all downhill pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not very sure what Google means by mostly flat.
Yeah, mostly flat. All right, Google engineers, because I know there's one of you who might listen to this.
Yeah.
Mostly flat. And actually, because you've complained about this. He knows what I'm talking about. It's Sam, by the way. Mostly flat is just not mostly flat. Like, just shows the elevation all the time.
Like, if you went from, I don't know, Lisbon to the end of Russia, and you have to pass by through Everest, you could say it's mostly flat. But, like,
yeah, because
you're still passing through Everest.
Yeah.
What does it mean? So if you can still show the elevation map for mostly flat, that'd be great.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we were 2.5k from the campsite.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, Matteo, we're 9.3k, and you were so confused.
Yeah, I was like, 3.5k. I was like, no, it's 9.2 to a place. Just trust me. I was like, all right, fine. 9.2. I'll go another 9.2.
What were you thinking at that point, actually?
If he's just baiting me to go to Calgary and it's 9.2, I'll turn back around and I'll just go to the camping. That's
fair. That's fair.
Because it was still hills. Like we go through past this down and then we have to go up another pretty steep hill.
Another few hills.
Yeah, another few hills. So I was just like,
yeah.
But eventually we got to a nice flat road.
Yeah.
And then Mike was like, turn left. And to our left was an agro-turismo, which
it's called a farm stay, dude, and it's an agriturismo.
Agriturismo in which is farm stay. So it's basically
which is a place you've wanted to go a lot.
Yeah, I really wanted to go see in Sardinia because the way it works is you pay a fixed fee, and they give you as much Sardinian food as you want.
Yeah, which is kind of unfortunate because today, at least we were exhausted.
I was pretty tired.
So it's really dinner starts late. It's hard to eat. Anyway,
I mean, it started lively enough, but then I just kind of crashed. We had a bit of red wine, and I was just like...
Yeah, but like literally, we were tired enough that like 1 or 2 glasses of red wine was enough to just put us to sleep, I think.
Yeah. We had a great shower, finally.
It's a very nice shower.
One thing about traveling so much, sometimes you find a good shower, especially in France, they give you like time.
The button showers that last like 10 seconds, and it's like, I can't even turn around.
This was a properly good shower.
Yeah.
And then we went for dinner. I think we had a nice dinner. Like, it was good food.
Really good.
I think.
Look, I'm just sad we were so tired.
It was fine. Like, we enjoyed the aperitivo.
Mm-hmm.
We might have enjoyed it a little too quickly.
Yeah, Matteo, like aperitivo, you sip on it, you have a chat. Matteo's like, ooh.
I thought we had to drink it before we were supposed to go in. So I just drank it all really quickly.
Because they'll stop you at the door. They're like, no.
Yeah, that was my bad. And then I went.
And then he got another one and downed that one too. And at that point he knew, so that was on him.
It was very tasty. Especially after a nice it's like a fruity drink, so it's like nice.
Yeah.
But we went in and they gave us maialetto, which was very tasty.
Yeah, just loads of plates of just good Sardinian food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we wanted the maialetto, but we were so tired.
Well, they gave us a primo with gnocchi and
cinghiale.
With cinghiale.
Which is wild boar.
And then the secondo was just a plate with potatoes and
pig. And well, they also gave us some starters and stuff, but we're not about to describe their menu.
Yeah.
And then Sub Barocco, I think it is, just near Listano. I don't know. Good place.
Very nice.
Would recommend. Yeah, very good food. Very good food.
Staff as well.
Yeah.
But I think once the big boat of maialetto came, we just crashed.
Dude, to be honest, I was trying to stay awake the entire dinner.
I crashed in. I realized the red wine was... Maybe there's something about it when you've done a lot of exercise. Red wine kind of makes you sleepy.
And then I think we just kind of rushed dessert and
we had a lemon
post dessert, as they call it.
Mirto.
Yeah. Cafe.
And,
And I think now we're gonna go to sleep.
Finished a glorious day.
Yeah.
And then
125k of hell.
And then 1,500 meters of elevation.
Yeah. Which was unexpected.
Which is, I think, our highest so far.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. But with headwind and everything, it was an exhausting day. So unless you have anything else, I think we're gonna leave it at that.
No, we'll see you in Cagliari tomorrow, hopefully.
See you guys.